Welcome to our Projects in iOS course from Edgionics. My name is Brett. In this lesson, we're going to see how to create the UI in Sketch. I'm in Sketch and I'm going to go ahead and create a new canvas. Actually, I want to switch over and I'm just going to go to File, New, and here we are. So these we're going to create two screens. So it's basically an easy mock-up that we're going to do here, just because of two screens, and I want to go ahead and have two canvases the size of an iPhone. And to do that, I want to create an artboard, and I'm going to go up to Insert and go to Artboard, or you can just do an A. And then over here on the right, you can see there's a lot of different sizes that we can use. So I'm going to do an iPhone 5 and work with that. So that's one screen, and what I can do is duplicate. So now I've got my two screens for the two scenes that we'll be creating. I'm going to rename these. So this is going to be scene 1, and then the detail scene I'll just call it detailed scene. All right, so now I can place different items on here. I'm going to do File, New from Template, iOS, UI Design. This is going to let me get some of these top items like the status bar and some of the other items that we'll probably end up needing. So I have navigation, which we're definitely going to want. I can copy that. Go back over here to our window, and what I can do is just go ahead and save this. So I'll have, let's see, I'm going to go into app 1. This is just going to be mockup, and then I'll go ahead and click on my scene and paste. So I want that here. I'm going to hold down the shift key and I'm going to resize this, and holding down the shift key just makes it proportionately resize. All right, and I know I'm going to have a status bar, but I want to copy this, and I'm going to drag this other one over here into this scene. And let's see, we've got our scenes kind of switched around. So what I want to do is just do this so that now they're kind of in the order that we're going to actually see them. So on scene 1, we're not going to have a back button. So here I can open up this navigation bar and just delete return value. And then what we're going to do is now grab some of the status that we'll have at the top. And let's see, that's going to be these here. So we'll probably get this one, unless we want to do this white one. All right, so if I go into preview and bring back the application, we can see what they have here. And basically the status is in this orange color. I don't know if we specifically want that. For now, I'll just go ahead and, let's see, grab this black one. I actually want to grab this white one. And then I'll go back to our mockup. And on scene 1, I'll paste and drag this up here. Now what I want to do for this scene is go ahead and change it to orange. So I'll grab my background color. I'll click that and hit the edit. Here's an orange I can use. And over here as well, I'm going to click on the scene title, do background, change that to orange. And like that. So you'll notice our status now is appearing, and I'm going to resize this like that. These don't have to be perfect either. I just want something that does look realistic, but I don't have to spend time edging everything perfectly into place. So I can copy this status now that I've got it, and I'm going to drag it down here. And we have our status that I'm going to arrow up and into place here. Then we can drag this up. All right, so that takes care of that part. And let's see, we have our status, our title. Now we're going to add a table. And let's see here, we have these here that we can probably use. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that because they're pretty plain, and we can then dress them up. So I want this over here, and I'm gonna hold down shift and resize so that we can get them into place like this. And let's see if they maybe have a single cell. Yes, this is actually what we want, so we can resize it. And if I go over here, scene 1, paste that in, we can delete this. This is actually going to be a little taller, like that maybe, and I'll just size this. I'm not holding down the shift key here. And we have our accessory icon there. So I don't think there's anything in between the title and then where the table starts. And I'm just going to copy another cell, drag that there, copy another cell. Let's see, drag this one here. This one looks good there. And I can go ahead and however many I want to do. I guess I can add one more. All right. So these labels are going to change. We're going to need a couple of those. Let's see. We have this label and that one. So this is this one down here. For this, we can just do category name. That way we don't have to spend time on every one of them. So I'm going to copy that. See, slide this over. Notice they're all sliding. And then I'll go down here. We have label right there. I'll double click it, paste that in. Open up this cell. We have label. We'll just paste that in. And probably don't even need to spend time with that if you know what it's already going to be anyway. There's no reason to spend time changing every one of them. And then we have this one up here, which is right there. So let's see, is that the one? No, there it is. All right, then what we need is we can copy this label. So I am going to hold down Option, and actually I want to hold down Option and click. There we go. I'll put this label down here. Notice the others drag down with it. What I'm going to do now is a count. So I'm going to go ahead and add some numbers, make it a little bit more realistic. I'll slide that over, maybe here. And I'm going to change the font size. I don't want it that big, so I'm going to go with a light. Sounds fine. All right. Actually, let's do something a little different because it still stands out. So as we're designing this, we don't actually want it to stand out and be as dominant as it is. So what we can do on this category label is change it to a heavy. And then we can change all of them actually. Okay. Now we're going to need a little bit of separation. I don't know if this is going to allow that. So this is going to be a light, right? It's changing all of them. And the reason it's changing all of them is because of how I've created them from each other. So I believe what I'll need to do is delete. And then now I can go ahead with text. So I'm going to click the T and then just type something here, 5. So now I've got the 1. I'm going to go ahead and put in the font that I want. So this is a light, and that looks fine. This up here, I can go back to heavy. So let's see if we go down to right here. You can see it's light, so we're going to change it to heavy. There we go. Now we should be able to just go ahead and copy this. And I'm just copying and dragging down. So I'll copy, paste, drag down this one, and copy, Control V, drag this one down, and then copy, Control V. Whoops. So there we are. Now we have basically our first screen mocked up, and I think this right here probably is going to be a whiter color. So let's see if we can lighten that. Not quite. We're going to go with, we want a white. So then what I'll need to do is I'm going to take this shadow or this orange out on scene 1 and go back with a white, so we have a little bit of control over what's going to happen with that. This up here, we're going to want maybe a different color. I'm going to bring in like a gray. So we have a gray on our title bar. I think I can actually extend that. Just collapse all these cells. So here's status, here's the navigation. I'm just going to drag this up like that. And then we have also our status bar. So that should be above, but what's happening is the white is just a little too faded. So for this gray, I can change that a little bit. So maybe for this one here, I want to get a black color. So I'm going to go back and go into here. So let's see here. Here's our blacks. Just going to copy this, go back to our mockup, and I can drag this down to where it was, maybe here. You'll notice they're both, because I copied and created this other one from it. So that's one thing to be aware of. If you copy one from the other, there's kind of creates this link between them. All right, so I'll drag this up and just hold down the shift key as I size this in. Let's see, don't want that, like this. It's behaving a little weird. All right, that looks good. So what I can do then, delete this one and copy, paste. So I have two status bars. I'm going to drag this one down here and then just hold down the shift and arrow it over into this one. And I like this contrast. So that looks a little bit better than just white. Okay, so now we can work on the detail view over here, but we will need some images. So we'll address that soon. And what we're going to do is a white box here. So if I go to insert, we want a shape, we want a rectangle, and I can just draw this. This is going to be for the questions. This is going to be white. So there we are. So I'm just clicking in the fills, I'm clicking this color here, and then I'll click T for the text. It's not going to be heavy, but I'm going to go ahead. Who was president from, let's see, 1753 to, or not 1853 to 1857. And what we're going to do is go with regular, I believe. Let's see here, it's not taking effect. There we are. Okay, so that changes our text. We have an outline going on with the shape. So here's our shape. What I want to do is down here in borders, I'm going to uncheck that. So there we go, we don't have that outline anymore. Now we need another shape for this gray area where we're going to put our give up button. So insert, we have shape, and we can do R. So I'm just going to do R for this other shape. This is going to be for our give up button. All right, I'll uncheck on the borders. This is going to remain a gray. And what we're going to do is text for a button. And just do give up. I'm going to change it to a blue. So let's see. I want to highlight that. There we go. I'm going to change, let's see here, the fills, blue. There we are, like that. And just move it into place right there. Okay, so what we can do now is we're going to put in our answers, and I don't have to put in all 9. I can, maybe do the first 2 rows, 6 of them. So I'll hold down the T button, and I'm just going to do answer 1. These were actually smaller in text, so that they would fit in here. So maybe a 12, and they were not this heavy, so they were like a light. And I think that handles that part. All right, so now I can go ahead and position them. Let's see, I'm going to click on my scene. Now I'm going to click answer 1. Drag about like that, I guess. And then I'm going to copy. So this is going to be 224 from the top. Control copy. And then we'll have 304. So what I can do here is just drag. I'm going to create this row. Move this over, center. Create one more row. Control C, V for paste, and move this over. So I'm holding down the shift key and arrows to move this over. Do like that. Okay, so that's getting close. What we want are for the background on these to be orange. So let's see if we go into this. We need to go into the component. See, open up the status bar. Here's the bar. And I'm going to click on fill. I'm going to click this color rectangle that opens up the color palettes. There we go. So for this here, this is the background of all this coming up into here. And I don't know, this is kind of minor to me, this background, what's happening with this status. We can kind of see it more when we get into the app. But right now, or next, we're going to go in here, get our shapes, our icons that we want to put into this, and then add them into the mockup. And they're the same ones we're actually going to use in our app. So what I'm going to do now is just File and Save.